Welcome back to the Old Rectory Epworth. My name is Marianne Smith, and today I will be presenting a session on how to retain your best customers, the third and final part of the 3 videos on the customer journey. In parts 1 and 2 of the customer journey, we looked at awareness, consideration, trial, and purchase. Today, we look at retention and advocacy. And this completes how you attract, how you convert, and how you retain your best customers by using the techniques I have shared in the customer journey. Throughout your customer journey, it's about maximising the customer experience, from how you sign them up to how you look after them so they remain. The last 2 sections are often forgotten. I once asked a hotel manager to think about his best customer. He told me a story about how his best customer would book out every year the whole weekend. So they would book the hotel for the conference rooms, the seminar rooms, the bedrooms. I asked him how much this best customer was worth to him. £20,000. I then asked him, what would it mean to lose that £20,000 client? These are the decisions people make in terms of the experience that they've had, whether that's a good experience or a bad experience, that allows them to make a decision whether to buy again or whether to leave and go to the competition. This is another one of my favourite quotes around the customer experience. We look at everything we do and we work out how to make things better. This is about working out what your customers love and what they hate. We mentioned this in part 1. We continue doing the things they love, fixing their problems, looking after them and adding value. We stop doing what they hate by finding better ways, for example, response times or better customer care. This is about including them now. It's about building relationships and smart communications with those customers so they remain happy and loyal. So where do we start with retention? One good way is to do a traffic light system. So imagine you grouped all your clients and put them into red, amber or green. So red, they're not so happy. Amber, they're okay. Green, they love you. So the idea here is to get them to look at the reds and think, how can we fix their problems better? How can we engage with them more? Think about your ambers. We want to get those ambers to green, because the green clients can give you testimonials, they can give you Google reviews, they can give you LinkedIn recommendations. So that's a really good place to start in terms of your retention strategy. Why not think about walking in your client's shoes? So I mentioned about the hotel manager. What does that guest see when he gets into the entrance, when he meets your team, when they stay over for the weekend? How are his guests looked after? Walk in your customers' shoes so they can feel that experience as soon as they step into the hotel or the shop or the gym. Review and improve your touch points. So how are you looking after the customers that you've got already? Where can you make things better? Gather their insight. What are customers saying about you in terms of things like the milestones that we mentioned? So what does that look like in the first few days? How were they looked after in the first month, the first 3 months? Get that insight back so you can continue doing what you're doing, or you can just make slight improvements. Create content for your best clients, and this is quite often where businesses go wrong. They will create content to get more of their best customers, but they forget about the customers they've got already. One of the things that I would definitely recommend is creating a customer care plan. Pick out the best bits of how you look after people, and then look at ways you can improve them and do the same thing every single time. So this customer care plan is followed all the way through with all the customers that you work with. One of the things you might want to think about is giving them the first offers, for example. So if you think about an early bird offer, quite often people do that to attract new customers in. Why not give those early bird offers to the customers that you work with already? Give them incentives. Upselling, cross-selling. How does this work in terms of the customers that you're working with already? So I used to work in a museum. A client might come in to book the lecture hall, for instance. When I had them as a customer, I would show them the barbecue area. I would show them where they could maybe do an exhibition, where they could have dinner in one of the galleries. I was cross-selling the other facilities that we had, but I was also upselling. I was adding more value to them. I was giving them more ideas how they could use those facilities. At this point, in terms of retention, it's really important to have that structure in place, those processes and those systems, that every client gets the best customer experience from you and your team. So this is around building your customer experience. So every customer gets the same experience every time, but you're constantly looking at ways to add value so they can go off and shout great things about you, which in turn brings in more of your best customers. Let's continue down the customer journey to our final part, advocacy. How do we get people to shout great things about us to others so they too check us out and start thinking about becoming a customer? So this is about indulging them in advocacy. It's about enhancing that customer experience so recommendations and referrals become a natural extension to how you gain more business. Let's look at this quote. 92% of consumers report that a word of mouth recommendation is the top reason they buy a product or service. So a few examples. In this stage, we really need to strive towards that 92% word of mouth recommendations. So give them examples, things like case studies, testimonials. Make it easy for them to see what type of business you are. If you think about LinkedIn, which we talked about in the first stage of the customer journey, in awareness, why not request a LinkedIn recommendation? So if you know you've done a good job for somebody, it's an ideal opportunity to send them an email or send them something through LinkedIn and ask for a recommendation. And similar to that is 5-star reviews. So if you have a customer that's absolutely buzzing on the customer experience that they received from you, this is a great opportunity to strike whilst the iron is hot and ask for a review. At this point, we want to update our client relationship management system, our database of contacts. So we're keeping a record of all the products and services that they've had of us. Create a memorable referral strategy. So in awareness, we looked at networking, for example. Use your network and your customers to ask for referrals based on the work that they've done with you. Who else do you know that we can help? You might want to consider partnering up with relevant associates. So for example, as a marketer, I have associates in web design, in copywriting, in PR, because I know they're working with similar customers that they can refer me and I can refer them. Something that you might want to think about also is entering an award, maybe an industry award. The people who organise these awards, they need you just as much as you need them, so give it a go. Another part of advocacy is charity or community work. Think about ways that you could be seen as a good business doing things in your local area. So we've looked at the customer journey and we've looked at the customer experience and the team experience, so everybody is on board to impress, to attract, ignite, to convert, and how to indulge to retain more of those best customers. At every touch point to everyone, creating an army of advocates that will help you grow your business. So remember what I said, that dial with the 11. Make every interaction count. Make it relevant, make it memorable. Fill those gaps and spot those opportunities in your customer journey. So that's the end of the session on how to retain your best customers, the final part of the customer journey. I hope you took away lots of information and enjoyed the series.